He doesn't interrupt. He doesn't raise his voice. In fact, he barely speaks at all. But somehow, when he enters the room, everything shifts. People look, people pause. And those who were loud just moments ago fall quiet because there's something unsettling about someone who doesn't react. While others perform for attention, he observes. While others rush to be heard, he listens. Not because he's shy, but because he doesn't need to prove anything. He knows something they don't. In a world where chaos is normal, the calmest person isn't weak. He's simply the one who already knows how the game ends. And that's what makes him dangerous. In this video, you'll learn the psychology behind calmness, why calm people are often the most feared, how stillness can be more powerful than words, and how you can develop this presence yourself without ever having to raise your voice. Let's begin. Calmness isn't emptiness. It's control, intent, focus. Psychologically, a calm person creates a unique tension in the room because the brain craves predictability. When someone is loud or emotional, we know where they stand. But the calm one, he gives nothing away. No tells, no emotional leaks, no reactions to decode. And that triggers something primal. Uncertainty. We don't fear what we understand. We fear what we can't read. That's why truly calm people feel powerful. They stay in control of their body language, tone, and most importantly, their emotional state. And when you're in control of your emotions, you control the pace, you control the energy, and eventually, you control the room. This isn't just theory. It's backed by decades of psychological research, from Carl Jung to Daniel Goleman, showing that those who master emotional regulation aren't just respected. They're trusted, obeyed, and followed. Calmness is not the absence of energy. It's the ability to direct it without wasting it. In every group, there are two kinds of people: those who react and those who respond. Reactive people are emotional. They jump at every insult, defend every opinion, and chase every argument like a dog barking at cars. Their emotions run them, not the other way around. But the calm ones, they don't flinch. They don't chase noise because they're not operating on impulse. They're operating on strategy. Here's the equation. Reactivity equals exposure. Calmness equals control. The more reactive you are, the more predictable you become. And when you're predictable, you're easy to manipulate, easy to provoke, easy to defeat. But the calm person slows the game down. He watches, he listens, he measures the energy in the room. And when he finally speaks or acts, it's not random, it's calculated. This isn't just about personality, it's about power dynamics. Calmness forces others to adjust to your pace. It silently shifts authority without saying a word. And most people don't even notice it's happening until it's too late. People don't fear volume. They fear silence because silence forces reflection. It makes people uncomfortable. It creates psychological tension. Now imagine someone who lives in that silence. Not awkwardly, but intentionally. Someone who doesn't rush to defend themselves. Someone who doesn't explain. Someone who watches you speak and says nothing. You start second-guessing. You start talking more. You try to fill the silence just to escape the discomfort. That's what calm people do. They don't just control themselves. They control you without lifting a finger. Why? Because calmness is unreadable. And what we can't read, we start to imagine. We project power onto what we don't understand. The calm person could be thinking 10 steps ahead, or nothing at all. And that mystery? It's intimidating. You can prepare for someone loud. You can't prepare for someone you can't figure out. That's why people fear the calm. Not because they look dangerous, but because you'll never see it coming if they are. You don't have to raise your voice to dominate a room. History, business, even warfare. They're full of calm people who held terrifying power. Take Steve Jobs. In meetings, he didn't talk much. He stared, long silent pauses. People would unravel in front of him, not because he was aggressive, but because his stillness forced them to expose themselves. Or look at Putin. Whether you like him or not, his still demeanor in high-pressure environments makes even global leaders uncomfortable. Not because of what he says, but because of how little he reacts. Then there's the samurai, the warriors of ancient Japan, trained to be emotionally still, to show no fear, no anger, because the first to move emotionally is the first to lose in battle. And in chess, the ultimate psychological game, it's always the calm player who wins. Not the loud one, not the passionate one, the one who waits, who watches, who lets the opponent overextend and collapse under their own emotion. These examples show one thing. Real strength isn't loud, it's focused. And when calmness meets strategy, it becomes unstoppable. Calmness isn't a personality trait, it's a discipline, a weapon. And like any weapon, it can be sharpened. If you want to own the room without saying a word, you need to master what most people never learn: control over your inner world. Here's how. First, breathe slower than the room. Your breath sets your nervous system. In chaos, if you control your breath, you control your brain. Second, stop rushing to respond. Silence is not weakness. Most people speak to be heard, but power doesn't beg to be understood. Third, train yourself to observe. Before reacting, watch. Not just what people say, but how they move, where they look, what they avoid. Fourth, let go of emotional urgency. You don't need to prove your value in every moment. In fact, needing to prove is the biggest sign of insecurity. Fifth, speak less, mean more. Make your words carry weight by using them less. Powerful people are remembered for what they choose not to say. This isn't about acting robotic. It's about staying rooted. While the world panics, you remain unshaken. And that presence? That's what makes people lean in, without knowing why. Calmness is powerful, but when combined with intent, it becomes dangerous. Because calm people aren't calm by accident. They're calm because they've seen chaos and learned to weaponize silence. They don't speak unless it matters. They don't move unless it's precise. And when they do act, it's not emotional, it's final. That's what makes them terrifying. They're not looking for a fight. But if a line is crossed, they don't argue. They execute, quietly, efficiently. And then they go back to being still, as if nothing happened. People mistake calmness for submission. They think the silent person won't push back. But that's the trap. Because by the time you realize what they're capable of, you've already lost. Calmness isn't weakness. It's energy conserved. It's control honed. And when it's time, it becomes the sharpest weapon in the room. In a world addicted to noise, calmness is rebellion. Everyone's trying to be louder, faster, more visible. But the calm person isn't in that race. He's moving on a different timeline, one you can't see, because he doesn't announce his moves. He makes them in silence. And that silence, it's presence, it's power, it's control. So remember this: the calmest person in the room isn't disconnected. He's just already calculated what everyone else is still reacting to. You want real strength? Don't chase attention. Build presence. Don't rush to speak. Train your silence. Because in a chaotic world, calm is not just survival, it's domination.